Scott Howard is a graduate of Arizona State University with a bachelor's in finance. He spent most of his time supporting the U.S. Department of Defense, initially supporting direct contracts with cost management, progressively increasing his responsibilities to Director of Business Operations for a subsidiary of Teledyne Technologies. Scott currently works for the state as the headquarters cash management manager for the Department of Transportation. He has a team that has responsibility of budgeting and funding over $900 million of highway projects each year. So, welcome, Scott.
First of all, learn by example, bring your water. You know, when I walked up here tonight, it was, I had a big smile on my face. This is the first time I've been in this room in 15 years. This is where my wife and I had our wedding reception 15 years ago. So, for those of you who aren't married at this point in time, you know what the difference between a good wedding reception and a great one is? Open bar. First of all, she just mentioned it. I'm a finance guy, so I don't think like you guys do. Not at all. I'm totally intimidated. The questions she just asked, I did not know the answer. I have staffs that I turn to and say, hey, go get me the answer. I don't have time. I have to do an email. They come back with the answer. A little about myself. I started with Lockheed Martin. When I'm talking DOD, I was in the corporate area supporting DOD activities. I started with direct contract support in cost management, where I'm co-located with the engineering, co-located with the actual Air Force officers, where we're trying to solve problems, and located out in deep in some buildings with some badges, security clearances and all, and that was pretty cool. You know, initially I focused on, my job was, you know, labor force planning and a lot of allocation, budgeting, financial planning and such, and a lot of various analysis and government reporting. I later moved on to SAIC, another defense contractor here located in Colorado Springs. There's a bunch of them. When you got the Air Force Academy, Cheyenne Mountain, Fort Carson, you got Schriever and Peterson, and there's other buildings around here that are DOD related. There's a lot of DOD business here in Colorado Springs. But back to SAIC, more cost management, and I actually had a chance to work for a small subsidiary. Instead of a big, large corporation, inside a department of a large corporation, I had a chance to really dive into a small subsidiary, which is kind of like a small standalone business within the corporate umbrella, where I really had a chance to branch out, and instead of being stovepiped into just cost management, I had a chance to touch finance. I had accounting disciplines, forecasting, revenue, and profit projections, all the different types of analysis and month close, anything that had a dollar sign. The joke was, in my last two jobs in DOD, was, if it's got a dollar sign, go talk to Scott, don't bother us. So that was my function. Finally, my last job inside DOD was with Teledyne Collaborates, where I was actually a director of business operations. Again, another small subsidiary of a large corporation, and I had responsibilities of controller, though I did not do the individual journal entries and things. Financial planning and analysis. I was responsible for new business development, quality assurance, government audits, and I even dabbled in a little engineering program management. Lastly, where I am now today, I'm not in DOD any longer, but I've moved over and I now work for Colorado Department of Transportation. I'm the cash management manager. So, you know, my team is responsible for any budget and funding actions for all cone zones. So if you're on a cone zone on a state highway anywhere in the state, that action has crossed my budget, or that budget action has crossed my desk or that of somebody on my team. And like Melissa mentioned, it's $900 million a year. It's in our annual budget. It's kind of exciting. It's big numbers. You know, it's kind of funny when you drop the first couple commas and you just start talking about, it's 100 what? $100? No, 100 million. That's what we're talking about. It's intimidating when you first start out, but once you get into it, it's no big deal. I have to say, I feel very fortunate in my career, and I think that is due to the, you know, I've been successful. It's due to a combination of number of things, and you're going to hear some of the, I'm going to repeat some things that others have said. That's what happens when you go forward. Hard work, you know, working hard. calculated risk, and this is where you're going to talk about volunteering for things outside of your personal scopes and realms of responsibility, and luck. But like I tell my boys, when we play baseball, you don't, luck doesn't happen. It happens to those who work really hard. So you can create your own luck. But I will say one of the things in my career that's been most helpful is networking. And you've heard it mentioned here tonight, networking. Oh God, I can't tell you how important networking is. Again, I've been fortunate. I have with the exception of CDOT, I have never gone out and actually pursued my next job. Every time an opportunity came to me, it was somebody in my network said, "Hey Scott, we got a job over here. Do you think you might be interested? I think you're a good fit." Sure, let's talk about it. Eventually I might make a move. But networking, using your friends, your family, use your parents. I know you don't think they know anything, but God, use your parents. Use your parents' friends. You have those social outlets with LinkedIn and Facebook. LinkedIn's been mentioned a couple times here tonight. It is terrific, and there's those little discussion groups you can participate with and log into. Be a part of it. Now, I will say, this is personal opinion, keep your Facebook over here and your LinkedIn over here. I have networks here and here. I only have 3 that cross in between because you don't want that. You don't want the 2 to cross. It's just a personal opinion. Keep the professional away from the social. You can only get in trouble when somebody wants to go search on your social and you've got stuff you shouldn't have out there. You've heard that in the news before. Classes. All right, I'm going to repeat myself. Not going to repeat. I'm going to repeat what they said. Outside of your disciplines, the school's taking care of what you need to know. But the ones that I enjoyed and use the most today is, first and foremost, small group dynamics. This is small group communications, where you are going to learn how to work in a small group, 8 to 10 at a table, where you learn to prepare for a meeting, how to contribute to a meeting, how to lead a meeting, and how to understand the dynamics and the personalities that are within that meeting. There's some people who are the turtle, who don't have lots to say but are afraid to say anything. You learn how to draw that out as a leader. And you got those who just are the rabbit and can't shut their mouth. You learn how to put your hand on the shoulder and get them under control and contribute. You're going to be amazed how much time you spend in a meeting. Am I right? Yes. All right. Meetings. Sometimes for me, as many as 6 to 7 hours a day, and it's been longer sometimes. Business writing. You've heard it. Learn how to write. Oh my God, learn how to write. It's English. You can do it. Email. You're going to be living in email. It's not that hard. Learn the etiquette. Be polite. Don't use acronyms that are outside your industry. Make sure everybody understands what you're talking about. Public speaking, whether it's a group of 3 or 120, I'm guessing. Is that a good guess? 100. Okay, or thousands. It doesn't really matter. What you want to do is you want to learn how to organize your thoughts. As I look at my own. Or you organize your thoughts and how to present and be comfortable and know your subject. Now, when I went to the last one here is general PC skills, and they've touched on this before. When I went to college, all right, they didn't have PC skills like we do. They didn't have email when I went to college. But learn your general PC skills. And one thing, whether it's QuickBooks or another software package, every one of you, regardless of your discipline, you're going to be out there working in an environment where you're working with a database, whether it's SAP or Oracle or any other type of software package. I think it's important to understand general database structures, how data comes together inside an accounting system. So if you understand a general database structure, you can go and you can probably understand any type of software package or figure it out, or you're not starting from scratch. All you have to do is learn the nuances of that particular software package. All right. Now, a little bit on DOD. I chose DOD. I love this. It has its ups and downs. And I hate to say it. The ups and downs typically, they go with the economy a little bit, but they also go with the political flavor of the day. So, you're always going to have an issue of ups and downs depending upon who's running the Senate, who's in the White House, and such as that. But that's no big deal. That's going to go up, it's going to go down. Everybody has to suffer through that. But the nice thing about DoD is there's always going to be a need for the common defense. So there's always going to be jobs out there. So it's something I strongly support. Right now, I'm actually with CDOT. I work for the state. I'm a state of Colorado employee. The nice thing about CDOT is I'm actually, is roads. You're always going to need roads. Eventually, I-25 is going to need to be resurfaced. My team's there to help it get resurfaced. So you're always going to have a job. So DoD and government services. Now, differences between the two. Corporate environment, like where I started. You're going to have a greater diversity of opportunities to touch and do more things, like I talked about in the small business subsidiary. You can do accounting and financing, forecasting and modeling, revenues and profits and such. You can do more things. You're typically going to get a little bit higher salary. That's a nice thing. But you are going to be suffering on the downside. You are going to be subject to a little bit more risk. When there's the ups and downs, you are going to be suffering. You're going to be more at risk. I will say in DoD, I think it's bottomed out. I think it's on its way back up. But for the past 5 and 6 years, whether you're in the business side or the engineering side, salaries have been stagnant, if not going down. In the business environment where I was, salaries have been stagnant for 5 years. In the engineering, they've gone down anywhere from 10 to 15%. I witnessed it because I had to propose it and I had to inform people, if you want to keep working, I'm sorry, but there's going to be a cut if we're going to keep the work. So it's on its way back up. Your retirement is most likely going to be a 401k participating and Social Security. It's okay, it's fair, it's equitable, it's what's out there for most folks. Government hire, if you want to work directly for the government, directly for the state, you are going to have a little more stability. You're going to have a little more longevity, because you're not going to suffer from the same ups and downs as the economy. You're going to have a pension. And any folks out there know the difference between a real good pension and a 401k. The pension's worth more than the 401k, in my opinion. Now, what do you give up for that? You do give up a little bit of salary. And you're going to give up some of your opportunity about going out and being diversified in what you can do and what you can touch. The only way to really get out of maybe doing just accounts payable is to apply and earn a job doing just accounts receivable. You're going to have to make a jump. You're not able to reach out. You're so pipe a little bit more, so you have to make plans to jump around and advance your own career. Employment opportunities. What do I look for in a candidate? You know what? I don't focus on GPA real hard. There's a reason for that. I was a marginal student. I think I'm a terrific employee, but I was a marginal student. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. It is a discriminator. When all things are equal, I will look at GPA. Essentially, I talked to my controller at CDOT, and she said, she doesn't look at GPA either. She goes and looks to make sure you got those core 24 hours of accounting and you passed that. What I really look for, and you heard it already, is participation here on campus. Whether it's with social clubs, professional clubs, business fraternities, social fraternities. If you've shown leadership in any of those, put it out there. If you've been the president, you've been the treasurer. For accounting, how geeky can it be to be the treasurer for your accounting club? If you're really looking for something, that's the dream job for most accountants. Looking for the leadership. Now, social fraternities. I come from a social fraternity. All right, if you were a leader, put it on there. If you weren't a leader, and all you have to say is, I sat there and I pumped the keg, don't put that on. You don't want to hear about that. I would recommend a cover letter. It doesn't have to be long, but I'll tell you what, when I'm looking at an application, I look at the cover letter. Don't regurgitate what's on your resume. I can read your resume for that stuff. Just a little bit about yourself, 2-3 paragraphs. Make it unique to the job. Pay attention to the job you're applying for, but put something together. If you don't have it, it's noticed if you don't have it more than if you wrote a good one or not. And that's my personal experience. Others are going to have a different experience. But that's what I think. Wow, I came to, I think I missed 3 pages. Recommendations, you've heard it before. Churches, being an intern, I have to believe the USOC and the NGBs They have so many intern opportunities there. I have experience with USA Volleyball, and I know that they're always turning interns, coming in, coming out. CDOT has it. The City of Colorado Springs has it. Get out there and Google internships. City of Colorado Springs, the County of El Paso. Those are out there. Those are, apply what you're learning now, and so you have a good resume stuff. Geez, that's it. That's all I got. I got more, but that's for another day.